The two sexiest job functions in organizations today. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Future in 5. My name is Jacob Morgan. This is where I share my thoughts, ideas, and commentary on the future of work in 5 minutes or less. Today I wanted to talk about the two sexiest roles or departments within organizations today. And some of you might disagree with me on this, I fully expect that, but I think the two sexiest roles within organizations today are HR and IT. I'm going to repeat that. HR and IT. And these are usually two functions within organizations or two roles or departments within organizations that are typically seen as being the least sexy within organizations. They're typically seen as being the most frustrating. They're typically seen as being legacy. They're typically seen as not evolving, not being modern, not being cool, and actually being the exact opposite of sexy. However, I think we're seeing a big turning point for both HR and IT, and I'll tell you why. So there are a lot of conversations and a lot of discussions happening around how the world of HR is evolving. In other words, HR is no longer a place that you go to when you're in trouble. It's no longer just a place that you go to when you get hired. HR is really evolving, and they're focusing on creating employee experiences. They're focusing on how to engage employees. They're focusing on so much more than just hiring and firing employees. We're looking at big data being used within HR. We're looking at all sorts of really cool things happening within the world of HR. Because when we think about it, the future of work is largely about people. And so HR is responsible not only for bringing in those people, but making sure they stay within the company, engaging those people, creating experiences for those people. So it's a really cool and exciting time for HR to figure out a way to create beautiful, to steal a word from Pat Waters, who's the Chief Human Resource Officer of LinkedIn, creating beautiful employee experiences. And so that's one of the reasons why I think HR is a very, very sexy place to be right now and a very cool place to be, because it's really rethinking how the organization operates. So that's HR. Now, IT. Again, IT is usually thought of as the part of the company that is responsible for resetting your passwords or for dealing with any hacking issues that you might be faced with or doing any type of support for you. But going forward, I also think that IT and the CIO and that entire function and role within the organization is being completely reinvented. We're starting to see IT becoming more business savvy. They're working closer with business units. And instead of being responsible for maintaining servers and for resetting passwords, they are now the central nervous system of the organization. They are responsible for connecting and engaging and empowering the entire company. And that is a really, really cool role to play within the organization. We see all these new technologies emerging: big data, the cloud, video platforms, collaboration technologies, the Internet of Things, wearable devices. I mean, you name it, there are all sorts of really amazing new technologies that are making their way inside of our organizations. And what's really cool is that I know I'm using the word cool a lot because it is cool. And one of the really neat things for IT and for CIO roles within organizations is that as they shift to these new types of technologies, a lot of their time and their resources get freed up to focus more on the business and less and worrying less about things like maintaining and running a server. And what we have to realize is that there is no future of work without IT. Without having these technologies in place, nothing is possible, right? You're not going to get real-time feedback. You're not going to get flexible work environments. You're not going to get any of these types of things unless we have the right technologies in place. And so that's why I think that the IT and CIO functions within organizations are also a very, very sexy place to be. So I think, again, HR, IT, two of the sexiest places to be within organizations. I think that's going to continue through this year, through next year, and probably a couple of years going beyond that. These are the two functions within organizations that I believe are ultimately responsible for touching everyone and everything within the organization. Everybody that comes through the doors, everybody that stays within the company, every piece of information, any technology that's being used. I think these are the two functions that are really, really starting to work closer together. And I see this firsthand because I run the FOW community, the Future of Work community, and our two largest member areas are HR executives and IT executives. And it's really fascinating to see the dialogue and the conversations that go back and forth between HR leaders and IT leaders at some of these really forward and progressive thinking organizations. Curious to hear what you think. What do you think the sexiest role or department is within an organization? Clearly, I'm with HR and IT. I think that's going to be the place to watch. But curious to hear what you think. If you want to get access to more episodes of The Future in 5, the podcast, or a bunch of other content that I create, you can visit thefutureorganization.com. If you want to ask me a question, you can also email me, jacob@thefutureorganization.com, or you can send me a tweet @JacobM. That's it. I'm at the 5-minute mark, so I'll see you next time on an episode of The Future in 5. Take care of yourself. Hey, are you interested in the future of work? If so, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get all the latest content on the future of work and stay up to date on all the latest trends and happenings. Not to mention, you will make me very, very happy. Make sure to subscribe.